The time is now 7 o'clock, and I call to order this regular meeting of Borough Council, June 9th, 2022. And we will begin, as we always do, with a moment of silence, Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Councilor Mellon.
So I just want to note that the last time that we met was May 12th, and just 2 days later, a gunman opened fire in a grocery store in Buffalo, killing 10 people. And days after that, another gunman laid siege to an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, killing 22 people, 20 of whom were small children. And since our last meeting, there have actually been 60 mass shootings across the country, with 94 people killed and 291 people injured. So as we pause for a moment to remember those victims, we should also remember that they are just a very small fraction of the over 19,000 people who have been killed by gun violence so far this year in this country alone. And we should please consider that we are the only country where this happens, and we should never get used to this or believe that it's inevitable and there's nothing we can do. So. And now the pledge.
Madam Secretary, the roll, please.
Mr. Cramsey?
Here.
Mr. Hicks?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Landis?
Here.
Ms. Mellon?
Here.
Ms. Perry?
Here.
Mayor Schultz?
Here.
Mr. Stubbe?
Here.
And before we proceed, we will need a motion to allow the Deputy Mayor, Brenda Landis, to attend by Zoom, by video conference.
I'll make the motion and allow the Deputy Mayor to participate via Zoom.
Motion by Councilor Crampsey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Mellon. I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, the motion passes. We have another number of presentations this evening. So I will ask. We'll begin with a couple presentation on police sergeant promotions. I'll ask the Borough Manager and Chief Landis to join me at the podium.
Officers to be promoted front and center.
Thank you, Chief. This is becoming a regular occurrence, these last couple of meetings. We have Lieutenant Miller with us here tonight, and we're happy to celebrate 2 more promotions this evening. And we are recognizing the promotion to the rank of Sergeant for Corporal Andrew Van Valkenburg on your right, and Officer Joseph Rasinski on your left. The promotion process began in the fall of 2021 with a written examination for those individuals wishing to be considered for promotion in rank. Those individuals having a passing score as outlined in the borough's civil service rules and regulations were then advanced to oral examinations. The oral examination was conducted by a 4-person panel consisting of 2 persons from the Carlisle community, selected by the Borough Manager, Chief of Police Tara Landis, and a law enforcement officer of the rank lieutenant or higher, selected by the police chief. Following the oral panelist interview, the process concludes with a final oral interview with the Borough Manager, accompanied by Human Resource Manager. We applaud the 4 officers who made it to the final interview session. It's quite a challenge to make it to that point, and all 4 of them deserve to be recognized for getting to that stage. Tonight, we commend Corporal Van Valkenburg and Officer Rosinski on being selected for promotion. Your commitment and dedication to public service, strong work ethic, professional demeanor, keen awareness, understanding, and vision for our organization and community are noteworthy. We look forward to your leadership as you guide and inspire others to lead by example. And I'll say when we met the reception just prior to the meeting tonight, I walked in and an officer, now Sergeant Brzezinski, was first in there along with me, and I asked him if those stripes were heavy already. And it's a recognition of, as we've heard in movies, with great power comes great responsibility. These new sergeants in our department have a responsibility not only for themselves, but for the squads that they lead, for the men and women who they lead. They have a responsibility to ensure that they do the right thing, as the chief likes to say, even when folks aren't looking. They have a responsibility for the moral compass and the work ethic of those beneath them. And we trust in these two men who are being promoted tonight. We trust that your respective leadership and contributions will benefit our entire organization and community, ensuring our residents have a safe and excellent quality of life. Congratulations, Sergeant Van Valkenburg, Sergeant Brzezinski. Now I'll pass it on to the Borough Manager to run down what is important for us to understand the background and how these two officers came before us tonight. Borough Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start first this evening with Sergeant Andrew Van Valkenburg, who began his law enforcement career in 2004 as a deputy sheriff in New York State, serving the communities he grew up in. As a deputy, he was assigned to the Navigation Division and then to the Patrol Division. He joined the Carlisle Police Department as a patrol officer in October 2005. In 2007, Andrew transferred from patrol to the Community Policing and Tactical Division. Acting as a police liaison to 6 neighborhood community watches and associations, Andrew was able to interact with many members of the community under this division. He had an integral role in opening up conversations between the community members and our borough government, addressing public safety concerns. To promote community policing, Andrew maintained the department bicycle patrol. He acquired new patrol bicycles and equipment to include emergency lighting and sirens. He is certified through the International Police Mountain Bike Association. Andrew has helped redevelop the department's involvement with National Night Out. Through cooperation with the North Middleton Township Police Department, both organizations have held several large events at the fairgrounds, promoting community involvement with public safety and developing relationships with first responders in the communities they serve. In 2008, he was accepted into the Cumberland County Special Response Team, which is responsible for high-risk tactical operations throughout the county. Through his training and experiences on SRT, Andrew has strengthened his leadership and decision-making abilities. Around 2012, he was appointed to the position of officer in charge. This position acted as a third-line supervisor, assisting the sergeants and corporals. In 2016, he was promoted to the position of corporal. In 2018, he was appointed as a team leader of our SRT, where he continues to improve his leadership skills. He is a certified trainer for the department. He is a firearms instructor and teaches courses such as active assailant responses. He is an instructor for advanced law enforcement rapid response training through the University of Texas. He is a certified instructor on the use of less lethal and chemical munitions through Defense Technologies. Andrew took over the Carlisle Area School District Middle School program, developed by the late Sergeant Simon Jackson. The program is designed to educate 8th grade students on the responsibilities of police officers and generate relationships that the students can carry into adulthood. Officer Joseph Brzezinski, now Sergeant Joseph Brzezinski, began his career as Pennsylvania State Park Ranger. He was then hired by the Pennsylvania State Capitol Police and then hired in 2016 by the Carlisle Police Department. During his 6-year stint here, Sergeant Brzezinski has been a squad investigator whose responsibility is to conduct criminal investigations and interviews, gather evidence, and assist the Criminal Investigations Division when requested, also assisting in a number of overdose and shooting investigations. He is also a member of the Cumberland County Special Response Team, participating in high-risk warrant, suspect apprehension, and barricaded subjects. We are also proud to call him one of our field training officers who helps to train and teach our new officers to be productive, competent, and positive members of the Carlisle community and our police department. One of the last items is he's also a defense tactic instructor, as well as he serves as the Carlisle Police Department liaison to the Carlisle Borough Human Relations Commission. Some of you may recall that Sergeant Brzezinski was in front of us just last month, being honored along with Officer Menner as Officers of the Year for 2021. Chief?
Sergeant's report. Certificate of promotion. This is a certified officer. Joseph Brzezinski is hereby appointed to the rank of Sergeant of the Carlisle Police Department, June 2022. Certificate of promotion. Corporal Andrew von Volkenberg is hereby promoted to the rank of Sergeant of the Carlisle Police Department this day of June 2022. Make sure that congratulations. Pictures, sir? And with the Borough Council. Congratulations. Turn around, please, sir.
There you go, perfect.
I'd be remiss if we didn't recognize the two wives, Mrs. Brzezinski and Mrs. von Wilkenberg, who also in turn are also promoted to sergeant.
Chief Landis, we saved the best for second. We're going to honor some firefighters tonight. I'm kidding. It's equal. It's equal. You think that at least. So we have some fire department recognitions. Chief O'Donnell, where's Chief O'Donnell? There's Chief O'Donnell. He's hiding in the back. He joined me up here. I'm going to say just a few words here. We have a plethora of firefighters to honor tonight, and the chief is going to go into the details why, but this is impressive that you're all here tonight. Many of you I know and know well. I know what you've gone through to be here tonight, and although I don't run any calls much anymore, I recognize the work that you've put in to wear those uniforms tonight, the time you've had away from family to run calls and run away from family dinners, and that it's not just those who are being recognized tonight who we honor in the recognition of individuals. As I recall back when I was taking my Firefighter 1 certification, and Adam Roth, who's here tonight, was walking around like a worried mother hen for me and Josh Kirby that Saturday morning. It's everybody who stands behind you. It's everybody who's trained you to get to where you are, and it's everybody who's there. You may be interior, everybody who does all that work in the exterior, and the officers who are there to allow you to do your job when the time comes. So thank you all who volunteer. Because when people ask me what it takes to be a volunteer firefighter and what you do and how do you do work shifts and how do we know if people are going to show up, I tell residents, well, you just hope that these volunteers show up. I mean, that's the real truth. And each of you stand up and do that job when the time comes. And I often say firefighters are some of the dumbest, smart people I know for doing what you all do every day. Chief O'Donnell.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Borough Manager, Council, staff. First, congratulations to new sergeants. We work with you every day, and you're a great pleasure to work with, and congratulations. The Carlisle Fire Department has a policy to recognize our members for acts that go above and beyond the call of duty for our normal everyday call. Tonight we're going to be giving out unit citations for members of the department while working together as a unit and a team to perform as astonishing and notable acts while upholding the highest ideals and traditions of the Carlisle Fire Department. And we have 3 different events tonight that we're going to be recognizing. Our incidents is all devoted on teamwork, and the first two incidents we're going to recognize are cardiac arrest. Normally, the Federation has a recognition program for that. It's a long process, and not everybody's recognized in that program. Just certain people that do certain things. Working with the 2 company chiefs myself, we decided that everybody that was a part of that team needs to be recognized as part of that was dealing with part of the fire department. This actually first incident took place even a couple of days before I became on board here in Carlisle. And it was at Kinsley's Pet and Farm Center, 1025 Rittner Highway, was for cardiac arrest. And I'd like for Dan Grimes, John Heberling, Ryan Darshmore, Grace Snyder, and Heidi Heberling to come forward, please. Okay. On June 2nd, 2021, Carlisle Fire and Rescue Engine 45 was dispatched to Kinsley's Pet and Farm Center, 1025 Rittner Highway for cardiac arrest. Engine 45 arrived to find a male laying on the floor of the warehouse with no pulse or respirations while the police department arrived and started CPR and had an AED available. Fire department took over CPR. While shocks from the AED was delivered twice, the patient regained a pulse and fully recovered from the cardiac arrest. Due to the early invention of CPR and access to an AED, weeks later the patient had the opportunity to meet all of us, first responders from Cumberland Goodwill EMS, Carlisle Police Department, and Fire Department that were involved. Well, on that day, teamwork took place from all the agencies that were involved. And also the early recognition of the cardiac arrest and the early implementation from CPR from also the co-workers on the scene made this cardiac arrest successful. And today we're going to honor these individuals. The Carlisle Fire Department recognizes, in recognition of service and action sustaining human life, thus contributing to the public safety, hereby confers the unit citation award to, in this case, Dan Grimes, teamwork effort exerted in emergency services and life-saving effort rendered on June 2nd, 2021 at 1025 Rittner Highway. Chief Grimes. Okay. John Heberly. That's you. Ryan Dorshmore. Grace Knight. She gets a lot of these with her job. Last but not least, guess who? Heidi Heberly. Should put you two together. Congratulations. Also, with the unit citation, they'll get an accommodation bar that will go with their Class A uniform as well. The second cardiac arrest happened at 10 South Hanover Street, Comfort Inn Suites, here in Carlisle. On March 4th, 2022 at 7:42 p.m., Union Fire Company Engine Company 141 was dispatched to 10 South Hanover Street, Comfort Inn Suites, room 215 for a cardiac arrest. Within a minute of dispatch, Deputy Chief Hinken arrived with an AED from his chief's car. Minutes later, personnel from Engine 141 arrived and assisted with CPR and applied the AED. The AED authorized one shock, and CPR was continued. Shortly after EMS arrived, a pulse was regained, and the patient was transported to Carlisle Hospital. The patient made a full recovery with the quick actions of the first responders, but with the recognition from a guest in a neighboring room, heard the patient collapse, and then also notified 911. Was also part of this survival. We're going to ask for Devin Becks, Matthew Hinken, Doug Klein, and Joseph O'Donnell, no relation, and Michael Ripp, come forward. Sorry, actually, don't come up early. Devin's not with us tonight, correct? Correct. Okay. Yes, you are. Matthew Hinken. Doug Klein. Thank you, sir. Joseph O'Donnell. It feels weird to see you. Michael Rowe. Congratulations. Congratulations. To come up first for this next presentation, we're going to have a lot of up and down. So I'm going to ask the Company 41 crew of Devin Beck, Joseph O'Donnell, Doug Klein, Robert Horning, and Brian Hamilton to come forward. This incident here, we had a discussion with the company chiefs on how we want to proceed with this. At the 4 East Lowther Street, best known as the Hanover Grill. On March 25th, 2022 at 04:01 a.m., Carlisle Fire Department, along with Carlisle Barracks Fire Department, was dispatched to 4 East Lowther Street for apartment fire with entrapment. Union Fire Company Engine 141 was back into the station, arriving from a prior incident, and could see smoke from the 3rd floor apartment. And it was very foggy at night, but they did have a smoke condition. Engine 141 arrived and connected to a nearby hydrant while members advanced a hose line to the 3rd floor. A neighbor reported they could hear someone crying for help from the involved apartment. Members had to force the door to gain access to the apartment that was on fire. While this was going on, Carlisle Fire and Rescue Truck 45 set up the aerial into the third floor and prepared for ventilation or rescue. While members started to advance the hand line to the fire, personnel started to search for victims. Lieutenant Brandon Yarlett from Company 45 found the victim on the bathroom floor. With the assistance from members of the Union Fire Company and Carlisle Barracks, the occupant was removed from the structure with no pulse or respirations. CPR was started, and a pulse was regained as transferred over to Cumberland Goodwill EMS. And I just want to comment there is if we talk about this, if anyone's been in our apartments downtown, they're narrow landings. So we have firefighters advancing hand lines with no visibility, the heat 500 to 1,000 degrees while they're doing rescue attempts, ventilation, and advancing the hand line to extinguish the fire. So all this is going on at one time. Once the patient was moved, the CPR was started, and with the good work of the Cumberland Goodwill EMS, a pulse was regained, was transported to Carlisle Hospital, and then sent out to a burn center. Members continued to do their work, and as the hand line was advanced down the hallway, Truck 45 ventilated the windows to assist with the rescue efforts and fire attack. The occupant lived for several days, but unfortunately succumbed to his injuries. Members of the Carlisle Fire Department sad to hear of the loss of life. The leadership of the fire department felt it was important to recognize those members involved for their efforts. We was hoping for the occupant to make a fuller recovery, but we recognize that our personnel worked as a team, they trained as a team to protect the lives and properties of our community and need to be recognized for their effort. So tonight we're going to recognize the members of the Union Fire Company, Carlisle Fire and Rescue, and Carlisle Barracks Fire Department for that initial response. Okay. So moved on. Congratulations. Doug Klein. Thank you, sir. Brian Hamilton. Congratulations. Now I'd like to come forward from Company 45, Brian Brenneman, Brandon Yarlett, Wyatt Stauffer, Ed Meeks, William Sellers, Dan Grimes, and Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan was incident commander of the incident as well. Yeah, you can. Thank you, sir. Everybody. Ryan Brennan. Brandon Yarley. Brandon was the one that found the victim. Wyatt Stauffer. Congratulations. Ed Meeks. Congratulations. William Sellers. Dan Grimes. And Sean Ryan. Okay, from Carlisle Barracks Fire Department, will be Eric Bender, Matthew Parka, Jason Colson, and Cassandra Miller. Okay. Yeah, Eric can't be with us tonight. We'll make sure he receives that. Matthew? Congratulations. Jason? Congratulations. And Cassandra? Congratulations. The reason we recognize this, folks, is for the teamwork. And the teamwork came from to know that our training works, our policies work, and the team works. So we appreciate what you've done. And also in this team, when we do have incidents, it's just not the firefighters. The Carlisle Police Department, Fire Police, Codes Officer was involved. Pennsylvania State Police Fire Marshal was involved. And one thing that stuck in my mind well into the afternoon while we were there doing the investigation was the insurance adjuster came in and said, "Is this all we lost?" Just those front 2 rooms. It was the work all that you did under difficult circumstances. In the past quarter of this year, in the first 3 months of this year, we had about 5 reportable fires that were investigated. Out of those 3 fires, we had 3 burn victims. 1 was unsurvivable, and 2 had to be taken out to burn centers for treatment. That's really unheard of often, but with the work of the fire department, with the smoke detector program, with the work we're going to do tomorrow with the Red Cross, get smoke detectors out, and I believe with the rental inspection program coming up, I think we can prevent more loss of life, damage to property. So I thank Council for letting us have this opportunity. I thank the members of the Carlisle Fire Department, Carlisle Barracks, and also want to recognize during that incident that night, we had support from Cumberland Goodwell EMS, Carlisle Police, Fire Police, Mount Holly Springs, New Kingston Fire Company, and North Milton Fire Company also assisted on the scene that evening. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We appreciate it. Does everyone just want to group up here and we'll get a group picture?
Can Steph stand back far?
Or we can go out front.
Can we just recess and go out front? Yeah. Why don't we take a brief recess and we'll go out front. We'll have a little more room there. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess.
They're going to go out front. We're going to go.
Now that I made you walk, let's go. Okay, I think we have everybody. Do we still have Brenda?
Yeah.
Okay. You see her at least. She's okay. All right. Good. Okay. All right. Call this meeting back to order. We'll proceed with more citizens to be heard. We've got Kurt Danich here with us this evening to present as the executive director of Tomorrow's Neighbors. We have your name. Just need your address for the record.
My address, 44 East Penn Street, Carlisle, Pennsylvania, 17013. All right. I should preface by saying I'm not a public speaker. And when I walked in, I saw law enforcement's being honored today, and I thought, how do I follow that? But it's actually a really good opportunity because law enforcement is charged with sending people to jail when they pose a danger to the community. And what I want to talk about today is what do we do with them when they're released from jail and they're no longer a danger to the community. So with that, I am the executive director of Tomorrow's Neighbors. We are a re-entry nonprofit organization in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We're a little ahead of ourselves. Our mission is to empower returning citizens, which is those coming home from incarceration, to stop the cycle of crime by becoming responsible community members. Arguably, we're not a re-entry organization. We are a community organization. We want to create safer communities. We just believe you do that by supporting re-entrants coming home so that they don't resort to criminal behavior and they don't return to prison at the cost of incarceration. Our vision is to significantly reduce the crime and recidivism rates in Pennsylvania. That is our goal. So there's a need presently in Cumberland County, and it is re-entry housing. When offenders come home, they have nowhere to live. That's a problem. Incarcerated people are 10 times more likely to be homeless than a regular citizen. Because there's a shortage in Cumberland County, most re-entrants are forced to reside in Harrisburg because that is where there are rooms to rent. These rooms, from what I hear from returning citizens, are barely better than a prison cell. They are small, they are expensive, they have insects and rodents. And larger than that, what it does is sends a message. It says, this is what society thinks of you. This is where you belong when you come home. That you are not even with the state. You still owe a debt. And that's the wrong message because we want these individuals to come back. We want them to reacclimate to society and we want them to be law-abiding citizens. Housing has been identified as a priority with the Cumberland County Reentry Coalition, of which I sit on the executive committee. Cumberland County also has an employee shortage. We have jobs, we don't have employees. Returning citizens are great employees. The first reason is because they have to work. Most are under supervision. It is a requirement of supervision that you show up to work. But larger than that, when they come home, they want to be productive citizens. I never met anybody that came home from prison and said, can't wait to go back. They want to come out, they want to be workers. They want to provide for their families. And that's one thing that gets overlooked is that reentrants, returning citizens, most of them have families. They want to provide for their families. Having inadequate reentry housing for them actually places a burden on a lot of agencies in Cumberland County, especially homelessness. These individuals, rather than being able to provide for themselves, have a place to live and a job, end up homeless. That burdens our system. A lot of them end up in substance abuse. A lot of them end up in homeless shelters. It's very expensive. And worst case scenario is they go back to prison at a cost of $60,000 a year. That's what we pay for every single person that's in prison. Some of these people in prison are not in prison for committing crimes. They come home on parole and they have a technical parole violation, meaning they broke a rule of probation or parole, and they go back in prison, costing $60,000 a year. It would literally be cheaper to rent them an apartment. Not that I'm suggesting for you to do that. Largely, the returning citizens population, you have a lot of people of color, LGBT community, mentally ill, homeless people, and these are the individuals that are usually ending up back in jail. Again, not because they're committing crimes. Returning citizens also lack transportation to and from work. That's one of the biggest complaints we have. They have nowhere to live and no way to get to work. They want to work. They can find jobs because right now there are good jobs around, but they can't get to work. I know a number of returning citizens that live in Dauphin County have jobs in Carlisle. They pay $70 a week for transportation to work. That's expensive. And that is also preventing them from getting to the next step. That's why they end up in these small rooms for years at a time instead of a few months. Currently in Pennsylvania, our recidivism rate is 60%. 60% of offenders that are released from prison end up back in prison. That is unacceptable. No other department in this state could have a 60% failure rate and continually get money. If PennDOT's roads and bridges failed at a rate of 60%, we would not trust them to build our roads and bridges. We would do something about it. And that's what I want to do. I want to do something to help with reentry. So, fortunately, we have a reentry housing opportunity here in Cumberland County. We want to put the house back in reentry housing first of all. We don't want them just to have a room to stay in. We want to have supportive living. What we do at Tomorrow's Neighbors, our specialty is peer reentry support. We pair successful reentrants with newly released reentrants, and they provide the emotional support to help them readjust to society. And that is often overlooked in our services. You can give all the resources in the world you want to a reentrant. If they don't have that emotional support, they're going to go back to what they know, what's comfortable, what has proved advantageous to them in certain instances. I know returning citizens that apply for food stamps stumble because they don't know the technology. They give up because there's no one there to help them do it. The resources exist, but they need people to walk them through the steps. We also want to have a central zone of reentry services in Cumberland County. I am very impressed with Cumberland County. You guys have tons of reentry services available to reentrants, aside from housing, but they're scattered. And if you don't have transportation, how are you getting to these resources? Fortunately, I am in talks with a landlord that is willing to lease me for 5 years a home that has 10 to 15 beds. This would be a reentry housing solution. It would be a soft landing pad with wraparound services for these individuals. It has 6 bedrooms, 4,000 square feet home, 3 bathrooms, an industrial-sized kitchen, a large communal spaces, 2 offices, and a fenced-in backyard. It's within walking distance to a laundromat, 2 grocery stores, restaurants, Cumberland County Courthouse, bus stops, various employment opportunities, the Salvation Army store, Cumberland County Adult Reentry Program, and the Cumberland County Probation Office. Each resident would benefit from 2 months of free rent. We want to give these individuals 60 days. We want to give them a chance to find a job that can, we don't want them to tread water. We want them to swim. We want them to build a foundation. We don't want them to take just the first job they can and never get above it. We also want them to acclimate to being free. The emotional adjustment from prison to society is overwhelming. That is the word you will hear from every single one. A lot of these individuals haven't made decisions for years. They've been told what they're going to eat, when they're going to go to sleep, and they come out here and they go, figure it out. The only thing I can compare it to, minus the honor, is returning from war. You spend every day watching your back. You get very close with your brothers. You don't know if you're going to live or die. And then you come home and they say, be normal. It's not that easy. It isn't. Post-incarceration syndrome and PTSD from being incarcerated is very real. And a lot of these individuals they're working, they're struggling to find transportation. Mental health is a luxury. They're not even thinking about their mental health. But in addition to the peer reentry support, which would be in-house, available to them for 8 hours a day, they would have reentry support groups, substance abuse groups, life skills, family reunification. Reuniting with your family is a real adjustment for reentrants. Some of these people come home because of the distance, they haven't been around their families. Their children are strangers to them. It takes a real adjustment to adjust back to that. Money management, we also have a very generous yoga instructor locally who wants to provide yoga and meditation courses for these men. Commutation expungement workshops, and CPR certification. We recognize that reentrants live high-risk lives. We think it's very important for them to know CPR, to be able to have CPR for their families, to learn those skills. And I think we witnessed today how important those skills can be in situations. We also want to provide transportation to employment. We want to 3 times a day provide transportation to the industrial parkways here, where a lot of the reentrants are going to end up working, where there's great jobs that they can build a foundation. I say great jobs because they pay well, and the reentrants do need money when they come home. We also want to have organized group activities. The photographs that you're seeing, these are outings we take with these men. We go on hikes, we have conversations, we form families. These men lean on each other. They talk about things with each other that they haven't talked with other people about. So what we're trying to do is seek community partners to show that the Cumberland House is needed, and that is the tentative name right now, the Cumberland House. And I chose that name carefully because Cumberland County right now, the leaps and bounds you guys have taken in the criminal justice systems, with your mental health courts, your substance abuse courts. I was honored to be able to go to the graduation for the substance abuse court here. Remarkable. I saw lives turn around. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to give the opportunity to turn their lives around. But we also want to show that it's supported, that the community is willing to give these people a second chance to prove themselves worthy. We're not asking for anything to be just given to them at no cost. We want these men to earn their second chance. And in this situation, when they're out here, the state has said they're no longer a danger. They have said that they are rehabilitated and they are free to come back to society. All we want to do is give them a fair chance to prove that they're worthy of that second chance. So we are seeking community partners with reentry coalitions, service providers, law enforcement, probation, and parole. I am personally sick of the us versus them mentality. We are all in this together. I think there's too big of a divide between law enforcement and community members, including reentrants. And I think we need to really limit that line and kind of bring them together. And I know I've talked with Chief Landis before that this is something very important that we want to work on doing. The criminal justice system, community members, business owners, and charitable organizations. Currently, we have some partners. Accountable Prison Ministries, county reentry coalitions. There's a number of lists there. But I want to say since that list came out, since I served the list to Joyce, Secretary George Little from the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections has backed this idea. That is huge. He recognizes the need for reentry. He sees the system, he sees the men want to change, and he sees the barriers that are in front of them. Representative Patty Kim, Representative Bart Glein, and Robert Reed from the Attorney General's office, who's also the chairman of the Pennsylvania Reentry Council. These individuals believe in this. They know it's needed. And I just want you guys to hopefully agree with it. Before I close, I do want to say, I want to share 2 quotes I have. These are from individuals that I've worked with. One wrote me because he heard, we currently produced a video that is being shown in every Pennsylvania prison. It was a follow-up to the reentry roundtable that was held in Carlisle earlier this year. And in it, we had 7 reentrants talk about their success stories out here, just what they did to succeed. And the reason we did that is because when you're in prison, you see parole violator after parole violator coming in, and you believe successful reentry is impossible. You just don't think it's possible. So we sent this video in to show it's possible. And beyond that, to show what we did to succeed out here. And I say we because I am a returning citizen. I turned my life around. I was incarcerated. And the only reason I turned my life around is because somebody gave me a chance. They gave me a place to stay when I came home. And they let me build a foundation upon which I can help others. But this is the quote from a young man that wrote me And he asked what Tomorrow's Neighbors does. I wrote back and told him, and he said, "You say Tomorrow's Neighbors is a family. Please adopt me. I have a really big, kind heart. People will see it and feel it when I get out. My biggest concern about reentry is just the loneliness of not having a supportive family and just seeing how people socialize and communicate." Another young man who is a juvenile lifer, and if you don't know what that term means, it means he was sentenced to life without parole before he was 18 years old. He was sent to prison at 16 years old and told, "You will never come out." Most people assume, well, he must have killed somebody. He did not kill anybody. He was present when someone else killed somebody, and we sent him to prison for the rest of his life. Fortunately, in 2018, the U.S. Supreme Court said that is unconstitutional, that we don't believe in throwing our children away forever. So this man, after 35 years, will be coming home sometime next year, God willing, if the parole board sees fit to release him. And he said to me, "It does get me angry how this state gave us kids life without parole sentences and treated us like discarded trash. I would love to prove them all wrong with my future success upon release. And if this is granted, and if we do have this reentry housing solution, this man, Michael, would be a resident, because I've already promised him an opportunity to get in that house if we can have it. So I'm not asking you to support me. I'm not asking you to support Tomorrow's Neighbors. I'm asking you to support individuals like Michael that just want to prove themselves worthy." So thank you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you. Well, one, congratulations on yourself taking the opportunity and being successful, and two, passing that forward and trying to work to provide that same opportunity to others. I mean, that's meaningful. Just a little bit of housekeeping, though. When we originally got the letter, it was the Carlisle House. We should refer to it as the Cumberland House.
The Carlisle House is currently being used.
It is, right.
Bed and breakfast, and we don't want
Yeah, we have the letter of support on the agenda a little bit later, and we'll make sure we make that change before once it's approved. Okay, thanks, Kurt. Okay. Move on to the consent agenda. So this is a list of routine items which do not appear to be controversial in nature and which probably do not require additional discussion. They can be acted on by one motion in their current form. If discussion is desired on any particular item, any member of council or the public may request the item be removed from the consent agenda, and that item will be considered separately. Does council have any such item? Does the public have any such item? Okay. Then I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda. So moved. Motion by Councilor Stubbe. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Cramps. I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent agenda is passed. So that's everything for those of you out there. Everything on the white pages has been approved. It looks like we have somebody perhaps working on a scouting badge in the back of the room. Is that would you like to speak with us tonight? It's fair to just shake your head no. If you'd like to come up and tell us a little bit about what you're working on. I'm putting you on the spot. Just shake your head no if you don't want to do it. It's all right. Yeah, come on up to the podium. We'll need your name. And tell us about what you're working on.
So, I am Jackson Doyle from Troop 168 here in Carlisle at St. Pat's. And my merit badge I'm working on is communication. So, it's where basically it's to help me with my communication skills and talking in front of people and learning about how
You're great. It's none of us do it all that well, so you keep rolling.
basically it's about public speaking and learning about all the process that goes into it and how it's organized, and basically some of the steps to becoming a public speaker and learning and doing this. So,
Jackson, how long have you been scouting? I'm asking you tough questions.
about 9 to 10 years.
Yeah, excellent. And what motivates you? What keeps you going?
Mostly the adventure, my parents, and basically helping me with life skills.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks for coming out.
I just want to say you're already a success with this badge. I mean, when I was your age, I would have been petrified to stand where you're standing right now. So, good job. Keep it going.
And you didn't even know it was coming, so that's even more impressive that you had the guts to come up and step up to the podium. Thank you. Thank you. We're not going to keep you up there. You can go back to your day. Okay, we'll move on to the regular agenda. There are no table continuing recurring items. Move on to the mayor's report. I will make a motion that council approve the execution of contract with Pyrotechnico for Stars Burst Over Carlisle 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, I'm sorry, I didn't catch who that was. Where'd that come from? Second by Councilor Mellon. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed?
No.
The motion passes 6-1. And move on to, I will defer this next motion to Council Perry, if you would like to take this one up, because you brought it forward to us at the workshop.
Yes, I did. And please forgive me. I'm suffering from allergies, so I actually just got my voice back today. So if I'm in and out, I apologize. I asked the Borough Council may consider sending a letter to the Cumberland County Commissioners endorsing Tomorrow's Neighbors application for funding to create a reentry housing solution program in Cumberland County.
There is a motion for the letter of support for Tomorrow's Neighbors. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Crampsey. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? The motion passes. I'm going to just report out to council that I have executed a proclamation for Pride Month. I'm going to run through the proclamation here. I don't know if we have any representation from any organization here tonight, but read through here to get it into the record. Whereas the month of June is recognized worldwide as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month to commemorate the 1969 Stonewall riots in New York City, considered to be a turning point in the fight for global LGBTQIA+ equality. And whereas LGBTQIA+ Pride Month highlights the work, struggles, accomplishments, challenges of LGBTQIA+ individuals in this Commonwealth and beyond. And whereas members of the LGBTQIA+ community are our family members, friends, co-workers, and neighbors. And whereas today, Pride Month is an opportunity for the LGBTQIA+ community to come together and celebrate the progress we have made as a country in the area of gay rights, but also to remember the struggles of the past and to recognize the hard work that still needs to be done to achieve full equality. Whereas Pride Month celebrations are held in cities and towns across Pennsylvania and the United States and are enjoyed by millions each year. And whereas as a celebration of diversity, LGBTQIA+ Pride Month reflects our state's unique history of welcoming and securing equal treatment for all individuals and adds greatly to the social inclusion and economic health and well-being of all our communities. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Schultz, declare the week of June 11th, 2022 as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month and the month of June 2022 as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month. Did I say Pride? I meant Pride Week the first time around in the Borough of Carlisle. I encourage all residents to join in the fight to promote equality and a culture of anti-discrimination in Carlisle Borough and the Carlisle region. There will be an event, a Pride Walk this Saturday morning, and it will be bringing us down here to Borough Hall. So I hope everybody can join us. I'm just impressed I got through Yeah, I didn't do it this time. LGBTQIA plus so many times in this proclamation. I wasn't sure I was going to make it through there, but I made it. So just reporting out to council. Move on to reports from committees. ERCP.
Thank you, Mayor Schultz. I have two items this evening. I make the motion that Borough Council appoint Mr. Christopher Bratton to a first four-year term on the Parks and Recreation Board. This term will become effective July 1st, 2022, and shall expire on June 30th, 2026.
Some motion by Council Landis to appoint Mr. Bratton to the Parks and Rec Board. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Mellon. Any discussion?
I'll just say really quick, my only comment is that I've known Chris for a long time and I did not tell him to apply, but I am so grateful to have him and as an addition to this board. So, and coming off of, 4 years of working with Parks and Recreation, I'm kind of bummed that I don't actually get to sit with the meetings anymore.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes.
And my second item is I make the motion that Borough Council appoint Mr. Edward Hazel to a partial term on the Board of Appeals. Mr. Hazel's term will become effective immediately and will expire on January 31st, 2023.
Motion by the Deputy Mayor to appoint Mr. Hazel to the Board of Appeals. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Mellon. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
And that completes my report.
Thank you. Public Works.
Consider the fact that I'm struggling with speaking. I would look and see all of this.
So Fran, would you like your co-chair to maybe take the motions for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
could you? Thank you.
There are a few items on the list this evening. First, I'll move that Borough Council approve the purchase and installation of a replacement Toshiba 150 to 200 horsepower variable frequency drive for the finished water high lift pumps at the Carlisle Water Treatment Plant for Ram Industrial Services LLC of Camp Hill, Pennsylvania for $15,271 through the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's Cooperative Purchasing Co-Stars program.
It's a motion by Councilor Stubbe for the purchase and installation of variable frequency drive. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Councilor Perry. If you can even squeak that one out, right? Any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I'll move that Borough Council authorize the full release of remaining financial security posted by the Woda Group Incorporated for its Dawn Ridge residential development in the amount of $5,550 to reflect completion of the project.
It's a motion by Councilor Stubbe for the full release of the remaining financial security for Dawn Ridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Perry. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I move that Council approve entering into an engineering services contract for a not-to-exceed cost of $34,500 with Daywood Engineering Incorporated to provide planning and design services for the borough's North Bedford Street Improvement Project, subject to the borough solicitor's approval of the contract.
Motion by Councilor Stubbe for the borough to enter into engineering services contract with Daywood Engineering. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Perry. Any discussion? Councilor Perry, you have anything to say on this one? I'll call the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion passes.
And finally, I move that Borough Council approve a unit price construction contract with LNS Formless Curb Company Incorporated of Hanover, Pennsylvania for the 2022 Factory Street Curb Installation Project in the amount of $30.75 per linear foot of new curb installed.
There's a motion by Councilor Stubbe for the entry into a contract for the curb installation project with LNS Formless Curb Company. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Perry. Any discussion? Call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes.
And that concludes the Public Works Committee report.
Okay, sustainable economic and community planning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one item for council to consider this evening. I move that council waive the requirement for a preliminary plan and approve a minor subdivision plan for 1528 and 1530 Terrace Avenue, submitted by Diffenbaugh Waddle Incorporated for Paul R. and Roseanne E. Walters, Lot 1, 1530 Terrace Avenue, property owner, Kitty L. McKellips, Lot 2, 1528 Terrace Avenue, property owner, to convey a portion of Lot 1 to Lot 2 as depicted on the subdivision plan in the R2 medium-density residential zoning district, subject to the applicant's acceptance and satisfactory resolution of all staff conditions.
Motion by Councilor Hicks for the waiver of the requirement of preliminary plan and to approve a minor subdivision plan for 1528, 1530 Terrace Avenue. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Councilor Landis. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion passes.
And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hicks. New business. So this is an opportunity for any members of the public who would wish to come forth and speak on any item of borough business to do so now. Or any more members of the public? We're running out. Anybody by Zoom?
There are not, sir.
Okay, thank you. Move on to reports from council members and staff. Councilor Mellon.
I have nothing at this time.
Councilor Stubbe.
I have nothing further this evening.
Councilor Cramps.
I was tempted to say I have nothing. I'll be quick, which is odd for me. But just, as the weather gets better in the borough, and I think we had a great example tonight of, the fire department, our police department, we have the best staff and department heads, I think, in the state. I would put them up against any other municipality. If you see them out and about, Parks and Rec, Public Works, whatever the department may be, for citizens, to say hello and thank you, because I think we might not see it every day, but they're what makes the borough run. So just wanted to give them a shout out. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Cramsey. I've said enough tonight. Councilor Hicks.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple items. First, since Kurt's still here, you are an excellent public speaker, and you represented your cause very well. I'm a big supporter. There are a few things that I think the cost benefits are better than what you're doing. I've read a lot of literature about reentry, about trying to reduce recidivism. I teach a public policy class, and I have a lot of students, a lot of young people really interested in better ways that we can reacclimate folks into the community as being productive citizens. I totally support what you're doing. Thank you for presenting. The second part is, oh my God, I'm so excited to remind everyone that we are a Platinum Community winner from the Sustainable Pennsylvania group that is part of the Pennsylvania Municipal League. Randy, you said what we do here is because of teamwork. This was truly a team effort, years of effort to showcase the priorities we make in our community across every department, across every sector. And I can assure you, because I saw the assignment, that you have to show your homework. And Amy, I know you're a huge part of that, Owen and others. On behalf of council, thank you very much. These recognitions, they're rolling in for us. People notice. I go to places that strangers come up to me because they heard something like I was from Carlisle or something and say, hey, you guys are being recognized for this and that. And I'm like, that's right, you should come move here. Some of them, I share some houses that are available, but I kind of leave it at that. But this is truly, this is something that people do consider who are moving into the area, who want to live in communities where they know that their government prioritizes these things. And I really applaud, because there were 10 other things that might have seemed more important than filling in all of this information. It's worth it. I am confident every minute of effort that went into this will pay off exponentially. Thank you, Susan, and your team. That's all I had. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I hate to ask, but Councilor Berry, do you have anything you'd like to try to say?
It's going to be quick. Juneteenth next Saturday from 1 to 3. We hope to see you guys there. My program assistant has done a lot of planning, so she's got some exciting things that we're looking forward to. And lastly, I want to say, Kurt, I am so happy for you, and I am so proud to be a part of, well, not working on the Cumberland House, that's all you, but being a part of this journey with you on the Cumberland County Reentry Coalition. And I see big things happening um, for this town and for this county. I think we're really blessed. So congratulations again.
Thank you, Councilor Berry. I haven't forgotten about you, Deputy Mayor Landis. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us tonight?
Real quick, I mean, I'm bummed that I missed all of these wonderful presentations. I got to see them from this side, and my main thing that I want to say is Stephanie is just a gem, and she is making us look so good because I'm never on this side to watch, like, and how she puts up names and people know who we are and the cuts and everything. It's like a newscast. So, and also I see her working her magic on Facebook and places, and so this is just a shout out to what a gem you are. Thank you, Stephanie. And that's it.
For Manager Armstrong, do you have anything for us tonight or from staff?
Yes, sir. I just have a few updates, and I'm going to call on a couple staff members. Cold, but they'll do fine with us. First of all, corporal promotions. We've had the pleasure to introduce our new lieutenant last month. Our sergeants this month and next month planned for the slate of corporals to come before you that are slated for promotion. Still have final interviews, one more to go tomorrow, and then decision time. I am going to ask Chief Landis and Chief O'Donnell real quickly. I know, Chief Landis, this was near and dear to your heart, and you brought it up during Carlisle Bridge Builders, the smoke alarm initiative that's planned. I think drawing attention to that is noteworthy. And then if we could pass it over to Andrea. Andrea and I had exchanged some information, and her staff just pulled the pool together, and we have some exciting news on an update as far as the Memorial holiday, and some of the attendance numbers that I think you'd be interested to learn, because it is quite an asset for the community. So Chief Landis, would you like to start first on the smoke alarms and how that came about?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. The Carlisle Bridge Builders, in conjunction with the fire department and the Red Cross, will be installing smoke detectors in homes. Anyone who wants one in the area around the police station, we're hitting there first. And what we're hoping to do is by word of mouth, as it graduates, move on to other neighborhoods in the borough. But we see fit that if we can, to get people, because they do save lives. I'm not a fireman. Thank you, sir. 10 o'clock tomorrow, 240 Lincoln Street. Building says Carlisle Police on it. Come by, bring your tool belt, feel free.
Okay, the pool. We opened for the season Memorial Day weekend. It was a hot, busy weekend. Memorial Day Monday, we had 718 people enter our doors. So that's a lot of people. We haven't seen those numbers in a while. So we were happy to see that. We're open daily for this season now, noon to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Well, Friday and Saturday we're open 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then Sunday through Thursday we're open noon to 7 p.m. We have a great staff of lifeguards. We're not fully staffed, but we certainly have enough staff to guard everything. We're probably our lifeguard numbers are probably up this year, so that's. We're happy about that, but it's been a great pool season so far. So hopefully we'll have a bunch of people come and visit the pool. Our pool season passes have been very busy the past 2 weeks, and we hope they continue throughout the season.
Thank you, Chiefs. Thank you, Andrea. Borough Manager, that's all you have? Okay. Seeing no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.